On this week's episode, it's rivalry week as Carolina football travels to Clemson and women's basketball takes on the Tigers in Colonial Life Arena. This is Capital City Sports. Hello and welcome into Capital City Sports. I'm Pat Cloney. Well, this was it. The regular season finale, rivalry week showdown between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the Clemson Tigers from Death Valley. South Carolina looked to finish its season strong, its second straight 10-win season, while Clemson hoped to secure an at-large BCS berth. To see how both teams fared, we send it to Hunter Banks.
Gamecocks traveling to Death Valley and Clemson to take on Dabo Swinney and the Tigers. And the Tigers get on the board early as Taj Boyd takes it in from 3 yards out to put Clemson up 7-0. But Dylan Thompson and the Gamecocks soon respond as he's going to drop back and he finds Bruce Ellington on the fade route. Bruce showing his basketball skills, got some hops, got some versatility on there. Gamecocks now tying it up 7-7. But the Tigers respond as Taj drops back and finds DeAndre, a.k.a. Nuke Hopkins, for the 43-yard touchdown pass. That would be Hopkins' only catch of the game. The secondary locked him and Sammy Watkins up. And Adam Yates would add a field goal, and the score would go into halftime being 14-10 in favor of Clemson. But not to worry, Gamecock fans. Dylan Thompson takes charge in the second half, drives the Gamecocks down the field with this 30-yard pass to Nick Jones. And that is followed up by Dylan Thompson's ace in the hole, Ace Sanders, 34 yards, breaks some tackles, and he is gone. End zone, touchdown, 7 points. That puts South Carolina up 17-14, and they wouldn't look back. Adam Yates adding the 43-yard field goal later in the third quarter. Clemson would go on to add a field goal of its own, this time 37 yards from Chandler Catanzaro. That brings the score to 20-17 in favor of the Gamecocks. Clemson closing in, but Dylan Thompson and the Gamecocks put it away as he finds Bruce Ellington in the back of the end zone, 6 yards, 27-17, and that's how the game would end. Hunter Banks, Capital City Sports.
Dylan Thompson proved he has what it takes to win the big game Saturday night. He threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. To learn more about how Carolina's offense performed in the Clemson game, we send it to Hunter and Nicole in the boardroom.
Hi, I'm Nicole Butler, joined here by Hunter Banks. Connor Shaw missed the game this last weekend, and he got filled in by Dylan Thompson. What did you think of his performance?
I thought it was a lot better than anybody could have expected. It was a short-term decision, short-term I think is the right word to use. About an hour and a half before the game, they decided to bench Connor Shaw and play Dylan Thompson. Dylan played out of his mind. He completed 23 of 41 passes for 310 yards, and most importantly, 3 touchdowns. He was the field general out there. Looked like Peyton Manning with a little bit more arm strength than Peyton Manning. But, you know, he controlled the tempo of the game. He was the leader, and I was extremely impressed by what I saw from him.
Yeah, he did amazing. Not only we had our second and third string running backs in the game.
Yep, we had our second string quarterback and our second string and third string running backs. Marcus Lattimore, obviously with his injury, was out, but Kenny Miles stepped in, played great. So did Mike Davis. They provided a good 1-2 punch.
Did.
Mike is a little stockier, and Kenny's your shifty, if you want to use that to describe him, running back, and they produced well. They each had close to 50 yards, and that's all we needed from them. It got the job done. They had plenty of first downs that they gained, short yardage, but you can't really blame them for only having 50 yards each, because Dylan Thompson, we turned into a spread offense against Clemson, and it worked.
It did. Well, how did our wide receivers do during the game?
Well, obviously, 310 yards, they did pretty good.
That's true.
Ace Sanders was the star. He had the very impressive touchdown near the beginning of the second half where he broke several tackles. He had 6 receptions for, I believe, 119 yards, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the most receiving yards our receivers had this year. He had a great game. Bruce Ellington had 2 touchdowns, which was solid. He had the crucial touchdown with just over 4 minutes to go in the game that sealed the deal. And Bruce played great, Ace played great, and you can't really ask for much more than what you got from those guys. They did a A-plus job.
That's true. I mean, Ace, he's so fast.
He is fast. And that's what's weird about this team is we don't have a Alshon Jeffrey type like we've had in the past. All of our big-time receivers are the Ace Sanders, Damiere Byrd, Bruce Ellington, who are short, around your height, what, 4 foot?
Yeah, 5'3"?
Who are, well, actually, I guess they're taller than you, but they're around 5'9", 5'10", and it's their speed that really gets it done. They are kind of like Sammy Watkins is for Clemson, and we'll get to Sammy Watkins in the next block, but you can't really out-throw them.
No, you can't.
Because they're fast enough to get to pretty much any ball, and that's fantastic. And plus, Bruce is a basketball player, so he's got hops.
That's true.
And he can go up and get those passes that we would have relied on a taller player to get.
That is true. And we did an amazing job during that game. I was really surprised with Dylan Thompson, like, it being his second game the whole season, really actually playing.
Yeah.
Like,
It was, like I said, I didn't think the Gamecocks would do well, and a lot of fans didn't think that, when they found that out, they were like, oh, well, there goes the game.
That's true. Especially in the beginning of that game. Like,
yeah, the first half did not look good,
not.
but second half, Dylan Thompson, I don't know what happened at halftime, but that boy must have done something.
I think he got, like, a little more comfortable playing, with his throwing. He got a little bit more confidence in him.
Confidence is key when it comes to the quarterback.
That's true. But hopefully Shaw gets better soon, and I think we're pretty good with Dylan right now.
Yeah.
Not too much to worry about.
That's what's great about this whole situation is obviously Connor Shaw is the #1 quarterback. Spurrier said that after the game.
Yeah.
But if this happens again,
we're not too worried.
Yeah, we're not up Bleep Creek without a paddle, so to speak. But that's going to do it for us for now. We'll be back after the break to talk about the defense.
Coming up, we head back to the boardroom, where Hunter and Nicole break down Carolina's defense from the Clemson game. Don't go away. The Gamecock defense was able to hold a powerful Clemson offense to just 17 points in Death Valley on Saturday night. To see exactly how they did this, we send it to Hunter and Nicole in the boardroom.
Welcome back into the boardroom, and now we're going to be moving on to defense. So, it's an obvious question, but who was the best player of the night?
That's a tough question.
Isn't it?
No,
Isn't
it was Clowney, Jadeveon Clowney. I mean, 4.5 sacks, 7 tackles. I mean, what can you say? The guy was a beast.
Exactly.
And he set a record. That's the most sacks in one game in Clemson. So now Clowney has got his name in the Clemson record book. So that's just another slap in the face to Clemson. But
For Pete?
No, it's forever to thee. That's what we're supposed to say now, because you know, in the alma mater, it's forever.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah. See?
4-Pete still's good.
Yeah, but 4-Pete's trademarked, so.
What can you do?
Technically, we're supposed to pay money now since we used it on air.
Nah.
For reals?
Oh well.
Oh well. Moving on.
He did amazing though.
Yeah, and it's good because there were points in the season where you're like, "Where's Clowney?"
Yeah.
And then here at the end in the biggest game, it's like, "Here I am!"
Here I am. Exactly.
And he straight up just.
He's ball hungry. He goes after that quarterback.
I was about to use an adjective that's inappropriate, but.
Let's not do that.
I know, right?
Well, DJ Swearinger also had an amazing game. Why don't you talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, he had a great game. He was field leader. You know, he was the Dylan Thompson on the other side of the ball, so to speak, and he just provided the leadership and the energy. I mean, the guy is just a beast.
Yeah.
And he showed that energy on one particular play. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's when he rocked Andre Ellington's world. I think Bruce, Andre's cousin, even felt that hit. But and then he did his little hulking move afterwards that got him the flag, and he's like, "Whoa!"
That was impressive. I was like, you just can't contain yourself, can you?
And there are YouTube videos that he's put up, and it's like, that guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's great for a football team.
It is. It's very entertaining.
And he's the it factor on the team this year. Last year we had Antonio Allen, who kind of came out of nowhere. This year it's DJ Swearinger, and I'd look for DJ to get drafted. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, because that guy is he's Troy Polamalu. He will wreck you.
I mean, he's made some nasty hits this season.
He has. I like to consider myself kind of a tough guy.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
But I could not handle that. I
mean, I could probably handle it, being my size and everything, and being just a beast, but what can you do?
Sure.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about our secondaries?
They played great. That was something that a lot of people thought might be a problem coming in. You know, they have not been the best. They've had a tendency to give up the big plays, and they gave up one big play. You know, the DeAndre Hopkins touchdown. Yeah. But, you know, Vic Hampton, Akeem Auguste, Bryson Williams, Jimmy LeGree, they shut down, you know, the whole Clemson receiving corps. You know, Sammy Watkins, Hopkins, you know, Jerron Brown, none of them broke 100 yards. None of them came even close. And it's unbelievable that they were able to shut down an offense that up until this game had been averaging something like 40, 50 points a game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the key to the game for me, was how our secondary would respond, and they played up to par. They showed out. Yeah,
the whole team was really, you know, after the second quarter, we just kicked ass. We really came back and played really strong. Yeah,
and it's all about, you know, Clowney and the defensive line got pressure, and that forced some throws that Taj Boyd didn't want to make, but when the defensive line didn't get pressured, the secondary had their back. The secondary had great coverage. And then you look at Shaq Wilson and the linebackers, and they played a great game also.
They did.
It was a sight to behold, but, you know, the defense played just as good as the offense. The offense is going to get more credit, obviously.
Yeah,
but
obviously.
The defense
won
the game.
They
did. Defense wins championships.
Exactly, that's true.
And this was the state championship, so.
Most important game.
It is. I've always said if we could win 2 games a year, I'd be happy, as long as we beat Georgia and Clemson.
As long as one of them is Clemson. Exactly. I think all Carolina fans feel like that.
Yep. But coming up after the break, we'll be back where we're going to talk about the potential bowl projections for the Gamecocks.
Still to come, we head out to Colonial Life Arena to see women's basketball take on Clemson. Stay with us. There was another Palmetto State showdown at Colonial Life Arena this weekend, where the Lady Gamecocks took on the Clemson Tigers. Austin Lewis was there. Let's check out his highlight.
On November 18th, the South Carolina women's basketball team took on the Clemson Tigers. The first half was a defensive showcase for the Gamecocks. The tone will be set with steals by Alicia Welch, Aisha Walker, and Ashley Bruner. The Tigers did not have a field goal. For the first 11 minutes of the Gamecocks would create a double-digit lead over the Tigers through layups by junior Wilka Montu and freshman Tiffany Mitchell. The score at halftime would be South Carolina 31, Clemson 18. In the second half, the Gamecocks would assert their dominance and extend their lead over the Tigers. Layups by co-leading scorers senior Ashley Bruner and Mitchell would create an insurmountable lead for the Tigers. Clemson would try to claw their way back into the game with a jumper by freshman Aisha Turner, but the Gamecocks were too much for the Tigers, leaving the game in little doubt after a tough rebound and jumper from senior guard Aisha Walker. The Gamecocks would defeat Clemson 64-43. This is Austin Lewis, Capital City Sports.
Welcome back in. We're going to be talking about the prospective bowl projections. What do you think about it?
Well, right now we're looking at the Outback Bowl, the Gator Bowl, and the Capital One Bowl. So, good news, Gamecock fans. It looks like we're heading back to Florida. The Outback Bowl is in Jacksonville. Capital One Bowl is in Orlando. That's where we were last year.
Yeah.
And the Outback Bowl's in Tampa.
There you go.
Gator Bowl's in Jacksonville.
There you
But
go.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be going to the Outback Bowl versus Northwestern.
Okay.
That's what it's looking right now. You know, either way it goes, it's going to be against a Big Ten team. Outback Bowl, it's looking like Northwestern. If we go to the Gator Bowl, it's looking like Wisconsin. And if we somehow squeeze our way into the Capital One Bowl, it's looking like Michigan, which would be a little dangerous for us because we've got Denard Robinson, and he scares me as well as a lot of people.
Yeah. It'd be a good game. It'd be a good game.
Yeah, it would be a good game, and I mean, Capital One Bowl, you want to go because it's a better bowl.
It is.
And there is a small chance we could make the Chick-fil-A Bowl and be playing Clemson. I don't think that will happen because I don't think we'll slip that far down the SEC Bowl list because, you know, BCS is always first, and you got Capital One, Outback, Gator, Cotton Bowl, and like Chick-fil-A Bowl is like fifth, and we're not
down there.
Yeah. But if that happens, personally, I would prefer we go to the Chick-fil-A Bowl because that would mean less travel.
That's true.
Covering
That's
it.
true.
But I don't want to play Clemson again
I mean,
because
it'd still be a good game.
yeah, but they know us too well.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean it's kind of an open topic. We're gonna find out Sunday, you know, officially after all the conference championships are done, where everybody's headed. Looks like Florida, so pack your swim trunks and
Heading down south.
get ready. Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. I covered the Capital One Bowl last year, the Chick-fil-A Bowl the year before. Both are great bowls, put on by great people. It's a ton of fun.
I bet.
It is.
Can't wait to watch it this year.
Watch it. You might be covering it. Who knows?
I know. Who knows?
But yep, that's gonna do it for the boardroom for this week. You know, check us out again next time. Next week maybe. I'm not sure yet, but if we have an episode next week, look for it. If not, we'll see you next semester. For Nicole Butler, I'm Hunter Banks. Stay cocky, Carolina.
Bye.
Thanks, Austin. And that's going to do it for us this week. If you want to check out more of our highlights, you can go online to sgtv.sc.edu. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at CCS on SGTV and like us on Facebook. Just search CCS on SGTV. For all of us here at Capital City Sports, I'm Pat Cloney. Have a great week, Carolina.